from the way that Matthew describes it, he was just going to do what he had to do that night, regardless of where he was. The invite to the party just made his mission all that much easier, but he was going to hunt people one way or another. Which, let me backtrack a little bit, maybe not, because the psych report did note that Matthew claims that he never went out that night with the intention of killing people. He says he was more like a general at war, directing soldiers into battle. So take that how you will. I mean, in my opinion, it seems like he was almost saying he didn't have any intentions of killing those 5 specific people. But if people, on the evil side or the shapeshifters showed up, that he knew what he had to do or what he felt like he had to do for this war. So I guess it could be open for interpretation. And I hope I'm not losing you all here because I know that this is a lot. It's a lot of moving pieces, but this really is key to the entire case. So Matthew claimed that after Brendan invited him to the party, he started prepping for the war that night. He also brought gloves and a box cutter, because he believed that his job as the general was to dismember the bodies of the evil and dispose of them before the police arrived. And according to him, the reason for that is because any and all police officers were also part of the conspiracy and they were on the evil side as well. So with that in mind, it does make sense why he acted the way he did when he was arrested, right? He fought back, he punched the dog in the face if he truly thought they were evil, if he truly thought that. Now, according to the psych report, Matthew claimed that he brought a knife to the party and then gave it to Brendan. He believed that Brendan was on the good side and that Brendan needed this knife to defend himself. And I couldn't actually find anything else about this in any other sources, but I was curious if it was true and what Brendan's perspective on it was. Which, I mean, imagine that you invite your friend to a party, they show up, they hand you a knife, and to kind of confirm like, hey, we're both on the good side, use this to protect yourself. I'd be a little freaked out. I'd be like, what are you talking about, protect myself? Why the hell do you have a knife? Why do I have a knife? Like, what's going on here? Now, Matthew claimed during his psych exam that he had no idea what time the war was going to start, that it wasn't scheduled, it wasn't going to be a certain thing that would spark his attention because it's right when the full moon fully came out. He said there wasn't any sort of indicator, that he would just know. However, some of the other partygoers have reported conflicting things. One guy, another childhood friend of Matthew's named Daniel, said that he and Matthew went on a small walk together the night of the party. And he said that during that walk, Matthew shared with him that the world was going to end at midnight, which to me, that makes me think that he had a time in mind, right? He knew when things were going to begin. We also know that around that time is when everything did go down. Apparently, Matthew also had told Brendan that the world was ending at midnight, so that's at least 2 people who were told that. Yet Matthew didn't start stabbing people right when the clock struck midnight. Yet he was still acting pretty off around that time. At around 12:30 a.m., another person at the party recalled how Matthew was sitting around the fire with some of the other partygoers. And as they were all sitting around the fire together, he did something really weird. There was an axe laying nearby. I'm assuming it was to cut up wood to use for this fire. But Matthew picked up the axe, put his cell phone on the blade part of it, and then dropped it into the fire. And everyone standing around the fire acted quickly and tried to help him out, even though he did this intentionally. One of them was able to get his phone out of the fire pretty quickly, but as soon as the fire was out of the flames, Matthew grabbed it and started smashing it with the axe until it was literally in pieces. So, I mean, it's not like Matthew was being totally normal and inconspicuous that night until the stabbings. He was being odd all night long. First with arriving with a knife, then this weird thing with his phone at the bonfire and the axe, and maybe people assumed he had just drank too much, that he was wasted and weird, who really knows? But none of his actions could have really warned or prepared people for what was about to happen less than an hour later.